Hi, welcome to Onward Shifts podcast. I want to start this podcast by saying thank you to those who have followed the journey from the get go, and also a thank you to those who are tuning in for their first ever listen. It means the world to me that you're all here and a part of this journey with me because from the start, I've been terrified of this, but from the compliments and the constructive criticism, I feel that I'm getting a bit more relaxed and enjoying the process a bit more. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's listened because it genuinely really does mean a lot to me. So thank you. Now, today's podcast is about something I feel that gets spoken about a lot and on different platforms in life and different ages in life, there are different ideologies of success. So today's podcast is going to be about what does it mean to be successful? Again, like all my podcasts, today's one is only my perspective of it. So there'll be parts that I hope you can resonate with and hopefully also take some stuff away from it. So, yeah, let's get into it. So, what does it mean to be successful? Now, I don't know about you, but I've been asked this question a number of times in my life. And for some reason, I've always, I don't know, changed my answer depending on the circumstances I've been in. So, for example, when I was a bit younger, I thought that success was having a big house, a fast car, a high paying job, and God, thousands of followers on social media. Now that sounds successful. But weirdly, as I've got older and grayer, I've found that the meaning of success has slightly changed. And the change has kind of been my idea of success now is spending time with my family, really being present, enjoying their company, being in a position to say yes to actually meeting up and actually showing up. Now, that for me is really successful. Don't get me wrong, I'd love a big house and a fast car and all the rest of it. But for some reason, I don't define myself as successful because of them, but more of a luxury of having them, if I ever get to that stage, that is. Because let's face it, having an Aston Martin on the driveway, now that's not like if someone gave me one, I wouldn't say no. Let's just say that. So success to me sort of means to be available, to be present, and not to consistently chase something that is so far away and has a money value to it. Also, I don't know about you, but I've noticed so many people on social media saying loads and loads of stuff about success, get quick rich schemes, or having the most fanciest pair of shoes or bag or all of those things. Well, again, that's all monetized. And does it really mean you're successful if you can own something like that? Considering a lot of things can now be bought on finance. Now, this is a really debatable topic, I know, but I'll say it anyway. Just because somebody owns something designer or has something that is expensive doesn't necessarily mean they're successful. I know people in my life who are honestly in so much debt, but they don't see it because they're consistently taking out loans or financing everything. Now, again, very debatable. If that's the lifestyle you're choosing to live, then who am I to judge you? I'm not in a position to judge anyone. But it's really important to remember that everyone's on their own journey here. Now, some people may have a lot of money from parents and others may not. There's so many different things that take to account. So when you see other people on their journeys and they're driving these flash cars or whatever it is that they're doing, and you're looking at them and going, "Wow, you've made it." Just remember, there's so many things in your life you've also done to make it, and there's most likely someone out there who is also thinking the exact same thing as you about you. So don't always be too hard on yourself thinking that you're not successful. To some people in this world, waking up in the morning is success. Having 3 meals is success. Spending time with their family, like me, is success. So always remember everyone's on their own journey and there's no right or wrong to what success means to different people. So don't be too hard on yourself by comparing yourself to others, thinking that their successes is where you should be at, because everyone is on their own path. An example of this, as for some reason I always bring up my partner, and here's an interesting one. When we were both 24, we didn't know each other, but I wanted to go traveling, and instead I bought a flat. And I've always looked back in life and gone, I really, really, really wish I went traveling, because the flat just consistently cost money. I couldn't then travel because obviously having a mortgage is quite painful, especially at such a young age. It was, again, that's a podcast for another day. Is it worth it? I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know. But my partner actually went traveling, and I'm always comparing myself to her because I'm like, I really, really, really wish I went traveling when I was younger. But she always says, I really, really, really wish I bought a house when I was younger. So it's interesting how she's on her journey and I'm on mine. And instead of being happy where we are, we always thought, what is it to be on the other side of that? So I think it's really important to always remember that that what if question will forever be there. For me, it's still there. What if I just went traveling at 24? What if? But I can't live my life comfortably and happy asking myself that question consistently. So instead, I've learnt to accept the decision I made at the time. And I thought, well, looking back now, I think I'm content with it because I could only do the best I could do with the knowledge and tools I had. So that's just one example in my life where I've compared myself, and I assure you, I compare myself consistently to more successful people. And I always look like, I guess I always watch the celebrities, the Elon Musks, who I absolutely admire, or used to anyway. Then the Stephen Bartletts and all the other, successful people out there who I guess you naturally compare yourself to. Oh, look at that person. They're doing all of this and they're squeezing in that much in their day. And look at this person, they're doing that. And especially I'm on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn for some reason. I don't really like social media, but LinkedIn is something I quite enjoy. But it's so natural to consistently compare yourself to everyone else, thinking, oh God, I wish I had that, or I wish I did that, or, maybe if I work an extra 20 hours this week, I'll be able to get to that. But the question is it maintainable? Is it sustainable? Something which you absolutely have to take into consideration when you're comparing yourself to other people's successes. Do they live that exact same lifestyle as you? Do they have the same responsibilities as you? You may have children, you may have pets, you may have other dependents that are reliant on you. Now that person you're comparing yourself to might not have come from the upbringing you've come from, or they may have been in different, like, put into different circumstances, different social groups. There's so many different aspects to take into consideration when you're comparing yourself to other people's successes. So the main thing to take away from this conversation is: one, don't compare yourself. Two, everyone is on their own path and everyone is going to get to where they want to get to. Some people might get there quicker, others may get there a bit slower, but you're all naturally going to get to where you want to get to. So don't compare yourself to other people's successes. There's so much involved in life. Life is stressful enough, don't you think? I think life is quite stressful. There's always something to do, or there's always things going on that you want to go to. But one of the things that I've personally taken on board recently is to have fun. I know it sounds stupid, right? It's common sense. Just have fun. But is it? Is it really common sense to have fun? I don't think so. I think it's actually quite difficult to have fun without the worries of life. Bills getting so expensive. I remember back in the day, back in the day, I think I'm showing my age here actually, but back in the day, I remember, chocolate bars were 50p. I go to my local Tesco's now, and they're £1. That's just a chocolate bar. That's not even taking into consideration milk, eggs, bread. So life is already difficult. So having fun is always quite challenging, but I think it's super, super important that when you stop comparing yourself to other people's successes, take a step back and realize how successful you already are, because every single person on this planet is successful. They may not see it, but it's true. They are 100% successful. They've gone through life and they've survived it. So everyone is doing the best they can. So that is success. But going back to the fun part, don't put too much pressure on yourself to achieve. Have fun with it. It's like that saying, I think I said in another podcast. Now, I don't remember exactly how sayings go because I'm terrible remembering them off the top of my head. But it's something on the roots of life is a marathon, not a sprint. So enjoy the journey, is what my point is with this part of the podcast. Enjoy that journey. Have fun. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, comparing yourself to other people's successes. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know anything about that person other than the highlights of their life, which they're choosing to share with you. So don't put yourself into that rut. There's also a strong part of me which has to talk about this other thing, and that's it's okay to have goals and ambitions, but just bear in mind they don't define you as the person. So, for example, if your job title is engineer, when you go home, you're not an engineer. So don't label yourself as just an engineer or whatever other industry you're in. It could be, CEO or COO or whatever it is. You're so much more than that. You could be a father, a brother, a mother, a grandma. You could be anything, right? So don't just think that going to work and chasing a job title will be your label for life. Because I don't think I've been to a funeral, and I've been to a fair few now, that anyone has ever said in loving memory of that engineer. I've never heard it. And quite frankly, I don't want to live thinking that it's like that's a thing. That's not a thing. I don't want to live in that bubble, I guess. So yeah, have fun with it. Don't put too much pressure on yourself and enjoy life. Definitely don't compare your successes to others. And I think that's really important. There's this really interesting video I watched so many years ago, but I don't know, it's just sort of stuck in my mind. And it was, oh God, again, I'm so terrible with remembering the exact details of things, but I'll remember as much as I can. I think there was a guy walking, and a person cycled past, and the guy walking was like, "Oh, I wish I had a bike." Then the person riding a bike, a car drove by, and the person riding a bike said, "Oh, wish I had a car." And a person driving a car, a nicer car, drove past that person, and the person driving the cheaper car, again, saying cheaper for the reason of this podcast, like, there's no video here, but said, "Oh, I wish I had that faster car." And the person driving the faster car saw a helicopter go by and thought, "I wish I had that helicopter." Now, these are all people comparing their successes to others and consistently wanting more. And that's okay. Like, don't get me wrong, it's really cool to have that ambition and the goal to, chase that thing you want, whatever it could be. That's really good. That's, in my opinion, healthy to have those goals and ambitions. Put your whole life on getting to that one stage. Just remember there's more to life than just that one thing. And by the time you've got that one thing, I know it's harsh to say this, but there's probably going to be something else you're going to chase. So don't let life get away from you, and the important things that actually matter get away from you because you're chasing the next big thing. Now, I think for me, there's a bit of homework for this podcast. This podcast is really important because we've discussed so many different things. But I think there's one thing I'd like for everyone who listens to this to do, and that's finding something that you feel is successful to you. That could be anything in the world, but something that you're proud of and something that you're really happy with. And you've gone back and gone, you know what? I feel really successful because I did that. Now, you don't have to share that with anyone. That's your little secret to yourself. But just please do that for me this week. Just please find one thing that you've gone, yep, that's success to me. So I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. And as always, I love feedback. So please, please, please send me your feedback to journey@onwardshift.com. And if you don't know much about Onward Shift, then please do check us out. We're not just a podcasting platform. We are so many more things, from coaching, accountability groups, podcasting, events, products, and blogs. This is just the beginning of our journey, and I'm excited to have you on board. So I hope you have an incredible rest of the week, and look forward to doing the next one. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good one.